Let's talk about IPv6 attacks. And mainly what we're going to be talking about are DNS takeover attacks via IPv6. And as of right now, this is the go-to attack for me. It used to be responder, grab the hashes, try to crack them, and then it was SMB relay. And if you can't crack the hashes, well, try to relay them. Well, this is just another form of relaying, but it's so much more reliable because it utilizes IPv6. And I'm going to just use my pen for this one. We're just going to kind of talk through this, and you're going to see how terrible I draw, by the way. And then we're going to go right into it, and you're going to see how cool this really is. I can't even explain how awesome it is. So, IPv6 attack. If you think about a machine running on a Windows network, we typically run on IPv4, right? And we have the box, and it's typically running IPv4 in the network. Chances are the network's not even utilizing IPv6. If you go look at your computer now and you go into your network adapter properties, chances are IPv6 is turned on, but you're utilizing IPv4 if you do an IP config, just for a Windows example, right? So if we're utilizing v4, but v6 is turned on, who's doing DNS for v6? And the answer usually is nobody. Nobody's doing that. So what we can do is we can say, hey, I'm going to set up a attacker machine. We'll give them a smiley face and kind of a smiley face. And we'll take him and we'll listen for all these v6 messages that come through. And we'll say, hey, I am your DNS, okay? And I'm going to spoof the DNS server. So send all your IPv6 traffic to me. And then I'll go ahead and just pass that along for you. The issue here is that when this happens, we can get authentication to the domain controller. So say this is the DC. We can get authentication to the domain controller via LDAP, or we can do so via SMB. So what we could do is we could take, for example, and you're going to see in the example that we reboot a machine. That reboot just triggers an event. That event comes through to us. We can use that machine to log into the domain controller. And it doesn't have to be an admin or anything. And we can get information, a lot of information out of just that. We could potentially use that machine to create another machine, as you're going to see from a blog example. And we can wait for somebody to maybe log into the network or use their credentials somewhere. And guess what? That comes to us in the form of NTLM, just like Responder, just like SMB relay. And we relay this. We do what's called LDAP relaying. We LDAP relay over to the domain controller with this NTLM credentials. We log in, if it's a domain administrator, to the domain controller. And guess what? We create an account. It creates an account for us. This tool that we're going to use is called Man in the Middle 6, MITM6. And what we're going to do is we're going to use this tool. It's going to do all this for us. We're going to combine that with NTLM Relay X, and it's going to relay into LDAP from our NTLM credentials. And then this tool is going to create, along with NTLM Relay X, is going to create a new account for us, and it's going to do so many awesome things. So I'm really excited to show it to you. We just have a couple steps that we have to do. We have to download Man in the Middle 6. In the next video, we have to set up LDAP S really quick, which is just a certificate, and then we're going to be rolling. And this is one of the most fun attacks, still very undetected, very hard to detect, and still very, very prominent in networks. So let's go ahead and move on to the next video, get Man in the Middle 6 installed, and then let's go ahead and see a live demonstration of what this attack looks like.